Well. We are at it again with another intellectually knowledge packed show from the Majority Report. Yes, two luminaries of the left. The people you go to when you want a good, critical, well spoken, intelligent take on something. Sam Seder and Emma Vigeland. Yes, they think men can get pregnant. Yes, they think illegal immigrants who've committed crimes should be in your country. Yes, they think Israel is a genocidal maniac state, which arguably it might. But they believe in every single thing that makes the left horrible. And we are going to get a great insight into that today. Jim, play the tape.
Where, and maybe this happened to you like in junior high or something like that, maybe high school even, where you got a crush on somebody and they don't pay attention to you. And in fact, sometimes you hear them being critical of you.
Yeah.
And you just so angry. And then you can't find anybody to listen to you talk about this person. So you go to the biggest loser you know who will give you a platform. Well, that is Tom Homan going on.
Naturally, you get the high school level insult characterized by, obviously, there has to be some sexual patriarchal element to this, right?
On Louder with Crowder to complain about AOC. This is such a weird, like a months-old thing, she said. He's really focused on this because he blames her for drawing attention to how illicit the ICE has been in this instance. And also, he blames her for letting people know what their rights are when they deal with ICE. Let's be clear. ICE, these people are not law enforcement.
Wrong. I mean, Sam Cedar is one of the dumbest motherfuckers. ICE it's a federal law enforcement agency under Homeland Security. I don't know. He's so brain rotted that he doesn't know truth from fiction anymore. ICE can pursue. I mean, they can gather evidence. They can carry firearms. They can arrest. In the pursuit of immigration and custom disputes and customs violations. That is their job. I don't know what he's talking about. They're not a law enforcement agency. He's just dead fucking wrong. It's no surprise. But to his listeners, he knows his listeners are too fucking stupid to go out and seek the correct information. It's not like he issues corrections on the things he says that are wrong, or Emma issues corrections on the things they say are wrong. It's not like they've gone back over the COVID vaccines and the COVID vaccine injuries and issued any corrections. Of course not.
They're not. They are. They can deport people here, and it's a civil procedure, unless you have been deported and returned, which apparently is a very small amount of people. But if you have entered this, and unless they can prove that you crossed the border illegally, as opposed to just not having documents, or as opposed to overstaying a visa, you have committed a civil infraction, functional equivalent of a speeding ticket. And they don't have authority to do anything other than to deport. So Homan's pissed about this because he's like the rest of his ICE force. They're all just sort of wannabe washouts from real law enforcement who were able, maybe they got a coupon from the Army Navy store and were able to buff up. That's basically what's going on.
I don't know why he's shitting on ICE agents so much. The ICE agency is the number one arresting agency of child sex traffickers in our country. You think that'd be something that's applauded and celebrated, but no. They have to be so far. They have to go after every policy that would do the maximum destruction to our country. Do they really want child sex traffickers, gangbangers, drug dealers, terrorists coming into our country? ICE goes after these people in some of the most brutal circumstances, puts their life on the line in some of the most brutal circumstances, trying to track down these criminals, aliens, drug dealers, gangbangers from all over the world.
On. Now, if they bring somebody over from the FBI, which they do, they're even bringing over IRS enforcement to help them out. Maybe a different story, although in the capacity that they're operating.
And then also, one thing I have to point out, entering this country is a federal misdemeanor for your first offense, which is, I would assume at this point, a fraction of the cases that were immigration cases that we're seeing. I don't know the exact numbers. I don't even think the federal government knows the exact numbers, because there's tens of millions of undocumented people in this country with unknown status. The second time you enter this country illegally is a federal felony. But they know their audience is so stupid. They know their audience is so lazy, they don't ever issue these statements. They do a thin layer, lazy critique of ICE without providing any proper background into actually the crimes that are committed when people come to this country illegally. There's zero nuance.
I'm not sure. But here's Homan showing up on Louder with Crowder. And Crowder, is it me or does it look like he's like done some work?
I know it's been a while since I saw him, but he does look a little bit different.
He looks, honestly,
it's filler.
Again, with the high school level ad hominem insults.
They all have filler. They all have so much filler.
he looks like
That's what it means to be a mighty manifesto.
that's
Gender affirming care.
It's been 3 minutes into this show. They've literally said fucking nothing. Nothing of substance.
He looks like he does in that. What was that? I can't remember the guy's name who did that animation of Crowder's Nightmare.
Oh, Eamon?
Eamon. He looks like Eamon's depiction of him in animated. But go ahead.
Well, look, AOC, she's the least smart congressperson in the history of the United States Congress, and she just don't get it. I mean, bottom line is she's out there saying, she's hating on me every day, which I kind of dig it, because I get to live mine rent-free every day, and I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
But she's all,
I mean, this is a government official talking about this. First of all, she's the least smart.
That's this guy.
Okay, Einstein.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's hard for me to keep up with
Vince over here.
the slurring of his words. But like, I just want people to pay attention to the fixation on AOC. It is psychosexual. It is really
absolutely no basis for what she's saying here. She's literally pulling this straight out of her ass. And I don't know, this weird, the left has this weird idea that men on the right think AOC's attractive. She is fucking hideous. It looks like her face looks like a horse with I don't know, it's fucking, I can't explain it. She's so gross. But I guess because she's a female, the whole female versus male adversarial approach they're taking to this dynamic is it has to be sexual. It can't be that AOC is advocating for illegal, her policies are advocating for illegal immigrants, possibly drug dealers, possibly child sex offenders, rapists, terrorists. It's not any of those stuff that she's advocating these people stay in her city. It has to be because it's a sexual dynamic to it. Not that she's advocating for these immigrants to break the law. There has to be a rape sexual element to it. Again, high school level critique.
really, I think, dark. And they monetize this right-wing fixation with her that is about her appearance, and it's mixed in with this.
It can't. Yeah, and also, it can't just be. She can't have horrible takes. She can't be the dumbest person in Congress. The shit she said is unbelievable.
Undertone of violence. So we used to talk about rape culture back before it was too woke, but this is the kind of thing that makes women feel unsafe to be around all these right-wing freaks because they intermix their anger and their politics in with.
That's calling the kettle black. Is the pot calling the kettle black there, isn't it, Emma? You're advocating for men to play in women's sports, men in women's changing rooms. Really? She is so beyond stupid, it's hard to put into words.
their, again, rampant misogyny. So that's what this is. And
Of course,
Kamala's
misogyny.
So dumb. AOC so dumb.
They are. She
Sexual
is.
history they're fixated on.
That was her number one thing when she came into the. I remember when Andrew Schultz
Don't
was
you know that male politicians
Yeah.
are
so chaste.
pure as the driven snow?
Well, Andrew Schultz, the comedian, the right-wing comedian, was saying, well, back in the day, the Democrats were the ones who liked to fuck. Like Bill
Classic
Clinton,
bit.
yeah, he was the man. But now, and they were against the puritanical right. But now Trump's the one with all the baby mamas, and he's having sex, and there's never even this like recognition in their mind.
Again, if you know what she's talking about, go at it in the comments. Trump baby mom. She might be referring to Elon Musk. Her brain's just turned to mush, so she probably doesn't know the words that are coming out of her mouth at this point.
You think Obama could have come on and been like, I have all these baby mamas and won the presidency because of his race, but even of the gender. If Kamala had been bragging about all of her body count, like just the underlying misogyny in the way that they speak about female politicians is so striking to me. But
And coming from a guy that it like feels problematic to play him just expressing himself through language.
it is objective that he is not as articulate as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and there is no way you could argue otherwise.
I would also, I mean, aside from
I mean, Tom Homan has a tough time with words, but I mean, as bad as AOC.
this, it's fascinating because I feel quite confident that she is in the top 3 percentile of
Yep.
intelligence of lawmakers. Yep.
Just, I got to go to this other video here for a sec, just to.
Of the many that you recommended family separation,
I recommend a zero tolerance.
which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father
Mr.
from
Homan,
his
with
family.
all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're in the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum, you go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States.
Retard. She's just retarded. I'm sorry, guys. She's an influencer who found her way into politics. That's it, bar none. You can't convince me otherwise. She's good. These Democrat politicians are good at political theater. That's it. Back to the video.
Person in the history of the United States Congress, and she just don't get it. I mean, bottom line is she's out there saying, no, she's saying on me every day, which I kind of dig it because I get to live in mine rent free every day, and I kind of enjoy that.
Yeah.
But she's saying she's out, so she's in New York City, what she calls educating illegal aliens to their constitutional rights. You don't have to open the door for ICE, you don't have to answer questions, whatever. But we know what she's doing. We're not stupid.
Yeah.
She's educating illegal aliens on how to evade ICE arrest. That's what she's doing. And what you don't understand
He
is,
hates that there's somebody out there saying that if ICE is knocking on your door, they need a signed warrant from a judge. Not an administrative warrant, not an ICE warrant, a signed warrant from a judge. He hates it. He hates the fact that there's people out there questioning the authority of ICE agents to do. He hates the fact that he knows his ICE guys, if they go out, you've got people coming up and calling them scumbags because making them ashamed of themselves to the point where they actually have to wear masks.
Let's get another thing clear. The only reason ICE agents are wearing masks is because people in these left-wing psycho sanctuary cities are doxing ICE agents, police officers. They're posting the names, their first, last names, and names of their children, where they live, where their kids go to school. So yeah, there's a reason why they're wearing masks.
And this kind of violence within border enforcement and ICE is nothing new. In 2019, ProPublica had this article where they found this old group with Customs and Border Patrol people, where they were posting graphic images of Trump raping and sexually assaulting AOC. So I just want people to know like how fascism and all of this stuff and state violence is intermixed with interpersonal violence and like these feelings of empowerment.
I don't know, honest to God, don't know what the hell she's talking about again. But this is all to downplay the efficacy and the moral good that ICE does and what they do for our country.
That always come at the subjugation of another group, and it doesn't. The groups can transfer on an hourly basis about who they're going after.
I love life. Living on
I feel like it. Just thinking about
Can you
it.
imagine like this guy is in charge of a major? I mean, like
You're welcome. Say thank you, please. Obama pointing.
Yeah.
illegal aliens on how to evade ICE, arrest. That's what she's doing. And what you don't understand is ICE is prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats.
No.
Who she's educating? She's educating child rapists. She's educating people who've committed armed robberies and committed rape and committed sexual assault. That's what she's educating.
He knows this is not true. He knows this is not true.
No, it's like the Emmett Till style, like sexual paranoia.
100%. And he's bringing
Again,
up-
another low. And who are they to talk? They live in New York City. The whole state is governed and has been governed for nearly 50 years by radical left-wing policies. So much so that their crime rate isn't even reported in most cases. It's out of control. Their subways are out of control. Rampant with crime, drugs, illegal immigrants. I don't know how, in the benefit of their community, they could say these things with a straight face. Their job is to protect their citizens. But just because they're illegal immigrants, they're immune from their crimes? Just because an immigrant's here illegally and they're a child rapist or a gangbanger or a drug dealer, they deserve protection just because they're illegal? How does that make sense? But Emma, and one thing you have to know about Emma and Sam, Emma especially is a Nepo baby. She went to a $40,000 a year boarding school when she was younger. She's done nothing to be challenged in her life. Silver spoon baby. And Sam's just a actor elite who's made millions of dollars on the backs of union and in the Hollywood, New York acting scene. These people are talking to you and speaking to you from an ivory tower. It's not like they're exposed to their policies.
crimes. I know I'm a broken clock here, but it's just so
broken
incredible
record,
to me how you can see
dumbass.
how upset he is and fixated he is on this. And
Incidentally, ICE also, I mean, or at least the immigration policy of the Trump administration no longer considers rape and domestic abuse as a legitimate reason to seek asylum in this country.
Why would it be? Why is that an asylum claim? America is not a vacuum for every person's ill in the world to just come here. It's unreal.
Yeah, right.
And if you arrest people at courthouses, guess who's not showing up to press charges or to go to court dates? Victims of crimes who may be immigrants. Like, he doesn't care about this whatsoever.
No, he's using AOC as a hate object, like Emma says, because Greg Casar, leader of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, doing the exact same stuff, as I'm sure many other representatives are. But Tom Homan is too afraid to go at somebody like Greg Casar because he doesn't have that element of, we can titillate these men with how they hate women and because she's attractive, and instead I'm going to have to talk to another man who might...
Greg Casar is not in the media advocating for illegal immigrants and providing them a safe haven in their city. AOC is. So they just make these baseless accusations. But you got to think, their listeners are the ones that I interview at protests. I ask them a question, and they fall apart like a house of cards because they've been indoctrinated by people like Sam and Emma. There's no basis or logic behind their thought. They have no idea why they're there. They're governed on emotions because if you listen to the Majority Report or the Vanguard or Hassan Piker, you're just inundated with emotional arguments, nothing of substance. So of course their listeners don't know that ICE arrests the most child sex traffickers in the country because they never put that out.
They might respect more than my, I don't know what that cartoon character was. That's what he reminds me of. I'll look it up.
Right, and I meant to say a broken record, but like this is also when they talk about protecting from criminals and child rapists, you are deploying plainclothes officers with masks on, not even officers, Gestapo, whatever the hell these ICE freaks are, going into schools. Like we don't.
Again, this is what I've heard this as well. ICE is going into schools to look after the welfare of the kids who have been brought over illegally. They're lying about this. They're fucking liars, despicable liars, and they get away with it because they know their audience will never look into this kind of stuff.
Probably.
There's a lot of those elementary school kids who go around with like a
They grow up to be rapists.
they could, and they're taking lunch money.
They are like giving. This administration says the next 3.5 years, basically, we are creating a built-in excuse for kidnapping, child rape, molestation, any kind of like grabbing people off the street. Again, just to return to like a bit of a feminist point, I think any woman that sees the way that these ICE plainclothes people come in unannounced, don't have a warrant, don't show an ID, and take somebody away, has that like inherent feeling like, oh my God, this could be an opportunity that I could be raped or sexually assaulted.
I bet Lake and Riley experienced that same thing with that illegal immigrant that Joe Biden raped and savagely killed her. Or the countless other rape crimes illegals have committed against the women of our country. Do you think she's thought about that?
Also, it's the same.
Of course not. She's a Nepo baby in an ivory tower who will never be exposed to her policies. Her belief system is such a luxury. She has security, food, shelter. She's been provided for her whole life. She has no idea what she's talking about.
Thing for children, and this is the administration policy. There's no oversight. It's completely lawless, and we have the Democratic leadership not even willing to criticize the agency because they haven't dipped, like Trump hasn't gone -20 yet without any leadership or messaging on their end on immigration. Like, how do we know, say some guy in a mask comes into a school and takes your daughter away? How do you know that that's an ICE agent or like the predator who's going to kill her or assault her?
Those Minnesota reps
Absolute
are passed by
bullshit.
exactly.
How do you know an illegal immigrant won't do that? Like and subscribe. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for listening.